The microphone's on there's down there's on. It's going to sound like garbage.
I don't know what happened. It must be a battery.
I'm Ryan Besson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
We are PopCulturists, and this week Bethesda made a pretty controversial decision, depending on where you stand, about how it's going to be treating review copies of games from the future. Now,
In the future,
what I say? From the future. They're going to send review copies of games from like way back when. Now, to kick things off, I'm going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
So that way we don't take it out of context. At Bethesda, we value media reviews. We read them, we watch them, we try to learn from them when they offer critique, and we understand their value to our players. Earlier this year, we released Doom. We sent review copies to arrive the day before launch, which led to speculation about the quality of the game. Since then, Doom has emerged as a critical and commercial hit, and is now one of the highest rated shooters of the past few years. With the upcoming launches of Skyrim Special Edition and Dishonored 2, we will continue our policy of sending media review copies one day before release. While we will continue to work with media, streamers and YouTubers to support their coverage, both before and after release, we want everyone, including those in the media, to experience our games at the same time. We also understand that some of you want to read reviews before you make your decision, and if that's the case, we encourage you to wait for your favourite reviews to share their thoughts.
Okay.
Now, a couple of different things. So one thing I want to discuss about this is three points in particular.
Okay.
One, is this going to set a precedent?
Mm-hmm.
Two, how does it affect the consumer?
Mm-hmm.
And three, how does it affect outlets?
Okay, well, what do you want to start with?
Well, it's the way. Yeah. So the way review copies normally work is you get a copy of the game a week to 2 weeks before with a embargo that says you cannot talk about the game or previews or impressions until this set time and date.
You'll never get it again.
Yeah, and they do also stipulate don't talk about these particular things because spoilers, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how it's normally done.
Yep.
So with Bethesda making this decision to not have a copy of the game sent to someone, so we don't receive it until the day before, it's concerning because it's tough. Because with Bethesda, they've earned our trust.
Oh, exactly. And that's the point I brought up to you when we started talking about what we can talk about tonight. So it's Bethesda, like they can do this. You know, they've been around for decades. All the goodwill they've earned with the fans, even they've had ups and downs, but when Bethesda go, we're doing this game, everyone's like, yes.
Okay.
Before reviews, before trailers, before anything, it's like, yes, a new Bethesda game, because they've earned it over all the years.
It's like, because if you think back the last 5-7 years or whatever, like, at least, every game that's come out has been stellar. Looking at, like, Fallout. You know, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Skyrim, New Vegas, Doom, Wolfenstein: The New Order. Like all these games are just solid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like they have the there's pretty much two companies, them and Rockstar, which people would be like.
And Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog does pretty good. But like, there's a handful of studios that are just like perfect.
Yeah, because
and no matter what happens, people will give them money.
Because they've got an awesome track record. They show. I think the biggest thing that these companies show is interest in the fans. You know, like you said before, like when you see a video from Todd Howard, you can see like the emotion and you can feel it. And you're like, he's really passionate about this. You know, he cares.
Yeah.
He's not someone just punching numbers for a profit. Like he fucking cares. Yeah. So that's why Bethesda have earned the trust. On the flip side of things, another company that's tried it recently is 2K.
Yeah, so with Mafia 3, which is a game that was kept reasonably quiet, like there was a lot of marketing and stuff for it. An example was when we were at EB Expo this year, they had a video only. This is days before release.
Yeah. And that video, honestly, pretty much sold me on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to pick this game up at some point, not day one. I'm going to get this game.
So I made the decision. I'm like, you know what? I'm sold. I'm going to go buy this day one. Now, the way 2K handled this is they sent copies of the game a day before. And it was a day or 2 days before release date. So it kind of really restricted on what reviews are out there, whatnot. But people still picked up and bought it.
Yeah.
Turns out the game is broken.
Yeah.
Like the story is really cool,
but it's broken.
Before,
like when you said broken, you actually mean it's broken.
It's broken.
Not shit. It's broken.
It's broken. As in, like, there's times where the light just changes colour, it can go booming, like your chest just bursts out, and it's this weird pointy stuff.
It's fair that people look at what Bethesda have said and gone, well, what's wrong with the game then? Like, why?
Because history has shown that that's what happens. If a developer or a publisher is hesitant about getting their game out to people, whether it be in previews, whether it be in review copies, you assume the worst. Another example being Assassin's Creed Unity, which for majority of people was also broken.
Which is a fair way to look at it as a consumer. Yeah, what's wrong with your game that you don't want the press to get it early? You know, what are you trying to hide? But as we said, it kind of goes company to company. You know, companies that have earned our trust, like Bethesda, Naughty Dog, Rockstar, you can pretty much guarantee that game's going to be at least an 8.5 plus. Yeah, it's guaranteed. Yeah, so you know these companies they're in it. Whereas 2K, for example, like I said to you, 2K are like the faceless overseers here. Like, you don't really see or hear from anyone from 2K too much. You know, they don't have a good track record with games.
There's no face.
There's no face of 2K. You know, a lot of ducking and diving and stuff, and a lot of shit games as well. So if 2K try to do this, it's like, oh, what's wrong?
Yeah.
But with Bethesda doing it, I don't see much of an issue. In terms of it setting a precedent, that's really up to the game developers to assess if they can pull that off, because not every game developer can pull that off.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. If we, not as we as people, because like if Bethesda aren't sort of not kept in check, but if they're not just, if there's no like, hey, what are you doing? Then like, it's got to allow other publishers to do it, to be sneaky, to hide their pure games, and that's where it's going to hurt the consumer. Which, you know, in this example, we are consumers. We didn't get a code for Skyrim. I doubt we'll get a code for Dishonored as well. Like, mind you, we reached out and we asked, and you know, we met with Bethesda at EBE Expo, so they know who we are, and we know who they are, and so, but we still didn't get one. So, in this case, we're consumers, and we're going to go pick it up tomorrow, as soon as I can. But this is where it can get dangerous, right? So by having this in place, you are creating uninformed customers, which is dangerous in a bad way. And like that's how you lose trust.
I don't know, because in a way it benefits consumers. If you look at it this way, if people like 2K do stuff like Mafia, they've earned that distrust, So consumers are learning which developers they can and can't trust to do this. Like I've said before, like Bethesda, you can trust them to do this. Rockstar, you could trust them to do this. Naughty Dog, same thing. It's all about the developers earning that level of respect and trust to pull it off. And consumers knowing that in the future, like anytime a new Assassin's Creed game was released, it's like, what's wrong with it this time? Because that's just their track record.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's... And in terms of it creating uninformed consumers, this whole mad rush to get something on day one is kind of...
But at the same time...
Of course, like, you're interested in the game, you want to get it ASAP and play it, But if you're not already fully sold on the game, what's waiting 2 more days?
But at the same time, the industry... Oh, my finger. The industry itself has created...
Really hard with a fingerprint.
Yeah, so the industry has creaed that demand for day one purchase, as well as pre-ordering. You know, so this... You know, they're like, hey, pre-order for all these bonuses. You're like, I want that statue, right?
Yeah.
Because we both pre-ordered the lore edition, so it comes with this really sweet Skyrim book. Like, I wanted the book, so I'm like, I want to pre-order it.
But having said that, you can still pre-order it and not pick it up for a couple of days. And after seeing a review and going, it's not for me, it's not for me, I'll cancel my order. Yeah. Some other happy chappy gets to have your copy.
Yeah.
Like, with me anyway, because I consider myself these days, I'm a casual gamer. Like, but I get 4 or 5 hours a week to sit down and play games. Okay, it's not. I used to do that every day. So I'm a casual gamer. So for me, if I'm interested in a game, but I'm not fully sold on it for a day one purchase, I'll wait for a review. If it's 2 more days, I don't care. I'll wait 2 days. Like Final Fantasy 15, for example, I want it. but I want to read reviews first. Whether the reviews come out on day 1, day 2 or day 3 after launch, I don't care. I'll just wait for a review. I'm not in this rush for day 1 content.
Yeah.
But like you said, the industry's created that with, all the day 1 purchases and the early access.
And day 1 editions and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
See, for me, in my current situation, because I'm not with child yet, I do have that luxury of playing games, but with what we do with my job, as well as this, I don't get much free time to really just sit down and play games. But I am 100% an impulsive purchaser. I am what they want, and I'm like, I wouldn't bought Mafia day 1 from a video that I saw, and I was like, I'm in.
The video would have made a cool fucking movie. That's what it was.
Yeah. So that's me. Yeah. But it's tough.
You've been burnt, yeah.
I've been burnt,
and you've been burnt fucking heaps of them. No Man's Sky. Yeah.
Perfect example. Because perfect example. Because once again, review copies were given out a day before.
Yep. And you bought it day 1.
I actually forgot that game exists.
And you bought it day 1, and it sucked.
It was average. It wasn't broken.
Not what consumers hyped it up to.
Correct.
Yeah, it's maybe our fault a little.
Yeah, a little. No Man's Sky is 100% up.
But all the companies you've been burnt from, you can kind of take it as a harsh lesson. Having said that, the game stores around here, EB Games for example, have a pretty lenient return policy too.
Yeah,
if you pushed and shoved hard enough, you could probably get your money back if it was that freaking bad.
Or trade it and get something.
Or trade it and get something else. Like you're not stuck with it forever, except PC because PC's. So I don't know, I kind of like it in the way that it really, if all publishers follow this course of action, in my words, it will let me know as a consumer which ones I can and can't trust anymore.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool with me, because I'm not the impulsive, have to have it day 1 before reading anything or anything kind of consumer anymore. I'm not. I can afford to wait a couple of days, and that's fine with me.
So yeah, we have a benefit here because we are in the majority of the time we're consumers, and we are also media.
Yeah, we're in the middle ground. So we got 2 perspectives.
Yeah, we have this great way. So let's look at it from a media aspect. So if we look at it from say the big wigs like the IGNs, the GameSpot, etc. Right?
Yeah.
It is tough on them in terms of because they are the places that need to get their reviews out first. I mean, that's what they do, because their whole industry is reliant on that. As well as including if they do those dumb graphics comparison videos, which I hate personally, but they do.
I can never see a difference in them.
Oh my god, they all look brown.
Yeah. Shade of greens or slightly shade of green.
But they also have the wikis as well, which we don't use personally, but people do, and if you don't have
them every now and then.
You know what I mean? Those wikis are incredibly important to what they do.
I get that too, and what this stuff, like the original, like what you said, originally you get it the week before, everyone's got a week to play it, and day 1 everyone can put their shit out.
Which is a massive thing, yeah.
So for companies like IGN and GameSpot and all of them, there's kind of a mad rush between them now. Who can get it out first? Because they're not going to get it done in that 24 hours.
And that's incredibly dangerous, especially from a critique perspective, because critiquing something takes time, it takes thought, it takes what's the thing for when you stand and you ponder over something. That's what it takes. And if you have a game that's say 30 hours, right? Or if we use the example of Skyrim, 100 and something hours, right? Luckily this is a remaster, so it's pretty much the same game, just pretty up. Makes a lot of sense.
I already know how that review's going to go anyway.
It's awesome. And pretty
the current trend with remasters is same as everything, looks better, but lower score than the original.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so they won't be able to critique it and review it properly in that short period of time.
But that
because they simply can't. Because as I said, say the game is 30 hours long. If they want to get that game out in within a day, at least we'll give it 48 hours, right?
Yeah.
If there's 48 hours to have that game up, and that game's 30 hours.
Yeah.
Even if they do it in 15 minutes, in 15-hour stints,
you still got to sleep and poop.
You got to sleep, you got to poop, you got to eat. You got to write the thing.
Yeah.
You got to if you do video reviews, you film it, edit it, upload it. Cannot be done in 48 hours.
But having said that,
to be of a certain standard,
because that's purely for revenue.
Yeah,
you want. Because the first review gets the most hits. From the guys up here, they obviously get the most hits on their reviews, which causes more ad revenue. But I would rather, like, again, me personally, I would rather wait an extra 2 days to get a legit review than something that's been rushed and a lot of details skipped over by another outlet. And if that outlet is going that route of just, here's a review, get the views, I'll stop going to that outlet because it'll be obvious what's happening. Whereas if another outlet took a little bit of time, and sure, they might lose hits and views, but if it's a legit review in the long run, I think it will be better.
Well, let's look at it from us as the small independent guys. Like, we are totally independent, and we are totally low on the totem pole.
Self-funded.
We are like if this was the totem pole, we are like here.
Like, I had to buy
new batteries for our
mic.
Yeah.
What kind of chumpy outlet are we?
But like, say, like, if the totem's this high, we are just slightly above people that play games.
Yeah. Because the issue is that all the big outlets, they get paid to be there and do that every day, whereas we don't. So we have to work.
Like, we have our full-time jobs. We do our 8 hours or whatever a day, or you more because you dumb job.
Yeah.
And then we go home and do what we can and get something out. Yeah. And by having, we've received copies in the past, which is great. So we're slightly a little bit there. Look, this is not a slant to review copies.
No.
Hell no. Like, as many places have talked about, they do not have to give us shit.
There are thousands of outlets in our position where they're trying to kind of get up the totem pole, but they're not at that stage where they can stop working to do more.
100%.
You have to keep working your job.
And when it comes to review copies, right? So if we were given a copy of a game a week before, even if we do only have a couple of hours a day, we can get through most of that game or finish that game and
get a decent review
done.
Yeah.
And we can have it up by embargo day. And that embargo day creates equality, fair play. It gives everyone a fair go. It means we can have our review up on the same day as IGN, on the same day as GameSpot, as the same day as Joe Blow YouTube channel, as an example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be just anyone. It gives us that equality, which is lovely. This doesn't.
Yeah, no, because let's say we got a Skyrim code, comes out tomorrow. For us to be on anywhere near a level playing field, we'd have to take time off work.
The answer would be we would have to take today off. We would have had to take tomorrow off. And mind you, I'm lucky in my situation with my internet. We've had to got the code. We've had to download that
on Australian internet.
On Australian internet,
which for you is okay.
Which for me, I have slightly above average.
Yeah.
Which is good for us, but horrible in
terms of
horrible US standards.
In terms of Australia, it's up here.
Yeah.
But in the world, it's...
So like it seems like we're complaining about getting free games.
No, we're not.
But at the same time, it's like we didn't get into like this. Like, we didn't decide to do reviews and become a semi-media outlet to get free things. That's not how it works. No. We come because we have a passion for gaming. But if we
got our first free game, I was like, really? Like us?
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for. Like,
I was like,
I feel bad for putting this code into Steam. It's like, here you go. It's like,
I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
So like that puts it. It's tough for us. It's like, it's great we get, we didn't come into this to get free things. That's not how it works. We came in here because we love the industry and we want to become part of the industry.
I'm proud that we, at expos and stuff, we've never approached it in that way.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
Yeah.
Like, that's our thing.
Yeah, and that's how it works. So if we get a copy, we're like, very much thank you. We're going to give you a completely objective review.
Oh, yeah. This doesn't mean it's going to be a 10
It doesn't mean anything, but like, because we're in a place that we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if this happens in the future, if we do get bigger, it's going to disadvantage us.
Oh, yeah. But
until we get
for us too, like, we work our 9 to 5 or 12 to 9 sometimes. 5 days a week. I've got 2 kids. You're going to have a kid.
Yeah.
It's a busy life, dude. It's really hard, and because everything you pitched to me of like, here's the negatives, I was trying to flip it with a positive way of looking at it, and this particular thing I can't.
Yeah.
I can't flip this in a way that this is good for us in any way.
No. But look, at the same time, that's the problem. It's hurting the smaller guys.
Yeah.
And now, in Bethesda's statement, it says, this is so all media and customers can play it at the same time. There's some blatant hypocrisy there. Because currently, if you were to go to YouTube and search Skyrim Special Edition, there are people with paid sponsorships to play this game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, if they wanted to pay us to play a game, I would say yes. Because, like, one, I want to play it, and two, I like money, and, like, it helps fund this. But in the same breath, like, that takes away everything they just said.
Yeah.
And at the same time, whether there's a written agreement or not, whether it's verbalized, they would say, hey, we've given you a copy of this game, we're going to pay you, do it. But like they're kind of like winking on. I'm not saying there's under table with this example, under table shenanigans.
Oh no, but there's
but there is that pressure.
There is publishers that do approach it that way.
Yeah,
and you can usually tell. Like I think PewDiePie's been under fire before for reviewing
Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, and it's just been blatant that you're getting paid for this. This is why you're being so good about it when there's obvious shit wrong with it. So I'd like to think Bethesda's not like that, but as a whole, there's definitely publishers that do that.
Okay.
For sure.
Alright, so we've sat here and bitched and whinged and complained about it. How do you think this can be fixed? Like, how do you think Bethesda could get what they want, but where we as consumers and we as media can get what we want?
Question is, what you just said, how does this benefit Bethesda at all?
Oh, so this is controlling message. This is 100% what it is, and this is how every other outlet would approach it as well. Any other publisher would approach it. It's them controlling what gets said, which makes sense from a complete business perspective. It makes perfect sense. You want the best. Like, if you're trying to sell something, you want it to look the absolute best all the time.
The dangerous thing with what they're doing now, though, like let's just, for argument's sake, completely made up scenario. Let's say they're paying these guys to play Skyrim and to talk about it really fucking highly, yeah? But this is the best game ever made, blah, blah, blah. And then the actual reviews come out and there's all this shit wrong with it. That instantly makes Bethesda's trust go blah.
Yeah.
And then they're just shooting themselves in the foot in the long run,
So it's weird because it shows confidence in their product as well as unconfidence in their product.
Yeah.
It's in this weird middle ground.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of arrogance in there.
Yeah, probably a bit of that too.
I don't know. Like I said, there's positive ways to look at most aspects of this for all the scenarios, except for little guys like us. There's not really.
Yeah, and so in terms of the control on the message as well, before we move on, like, this is, like, there are people out there and there are outlets and whatnot. I'm not going to name names or anything because it's talking general, but like, they will crap on a game for no reason. They will talk about things in that review that have nothing to do with the game because, like, they'll rather spew hatred about something, and those, as a result, like these wild cards, an example is Jim Sterling. I know you've seen some of his stuff here. He is in this middle ground because he's not got it. He has sort of been semi-blacklisted from EA as an example because they deem him to be a wild card because they can't predict what his answer is going to be.
Yeah, but make good stuff, and you should know what
he makes excellent stuff.
I mean, for the publishers, really make good stuff, and you should know what the answers can be.
Exactly.
I think it's really important. One thing to touch on before we finish is that journalists as a whole, the bigger guys, just because when you said we talk about this, I did a quick Google search and just had a flip through. If you don't get a code for a game early, don't act so entitled that you should have, because everything I've seen from I'm not going to name names, but everything I've seen just make, like, one particular website has, here's why you won't see our Skyrim review day one, little paragraph about what's going on with this. Like, come on,
clickbait.
You can explain what's going on, but don't try to sound so arrogant and entitled about it. To me, that just rubs me the wrong way. I really fucking hate it.
See, but at the same time, like, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. That's their job. Their job is literally to have reviews up, and, like, that's entirely their job, and they are at the discretion of the developers and the publishers. But at the same time, like, they are literally hindering their work.
I see that. No, they're not, because the job is to get a review out as soon as possible. Nowhere would it be day one. Like, if you get an advanced copy, you get it out day one, or not in this case. Like, regardless, this doesn't affect them guys anyway. Sure, they might have to bust a little bit harder, but fuck it, bust it a little bit harder. You want the clicks, you want the ads, you want the money, so pull an all-nighter if you have to. Like, if it means that much to you that you have to make a whingy article about not getting a code a week early, then fucking stay up another night and do it. Get it out for everyone else.
Alright, how do we fix this? How does everyone get what they want?
I mean, we can. Because internet's full of trolls and hate, Like, people are always going to be bitching about anything anyone does. Like, I think this was brave of Bethesda to do, in a way, because they're the first to kind of set that precedent, and they're going to cop all the initial hate, and then when someone else is like, oh, they're doing it too, oh, okay. So Bethesda were the first, so, you know, fuck them, but not, because they're actually pretty cool and they make good stuff. I just didn't see a problem with having a week early copy with an embargo.
Yeah.
No. You're still controlling the message. Yes, leaks happen. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You know, you can give someone a review copy, then they hop on Reddit or 4chan and go, here's stuff about the game.
Yeah.
Anonymously.
See, this is how I would resolve it. Like, give the review copies out early. Now, embargoes currently are essentially not even verbal contracts. They're like, hey, can you not do that?
Yeah.
And we go, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, because I'll agree with you because I'd like this relationship.
Yeah, and the worst that comes out of it is being blacklisted, right?
Yeah.
So the other option would be make him NDAs. It seems shifty to be like, you can't, you know, these are the things you like. Like, hey, because they don't have to give us anything, so they can be like, here's a copy of this game, but you have to sign this, and in this it says you have to do this, this, and this. You have to meet these requirements. I'm giving you the goods, you give me the service. This is how it works.
So what?
So like you creating a written contract, or even a verbal contract saying, yeah, I agree to meet what you say.
It could just be part of accepting the code, yeah? Like you punch in the code, it realises it's a early access, like, media code, and it's like, by doing this, blah, 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 terms of service, basically.
Yeah.
By accepting this code, you agree to blah, 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 okay, cancel. If you don't agree, fucking cancel it, don't get the game.
Yeah.
If you click OK, they can see that media code went to that outlet, they accepted, they broke it.
Look, at the same time, I'm sure that'll come with its own problems.
Oh, definitely.
But I think that's the foolproof way, because like with an NDA, right, like a lot of places would be like, hey, we'll fine you X amount on it for disclosing this information. Cool, don't talk about it.
As long as everyone has that same NDA, fine.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm happy to meet an NDA. Like I'm happy to meet embargoes, man. Like all these, like I respect that agreement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's the way it should be treated, and that is how you fix it without all this additional garbage.
Okay.
You just come to an agreement, like, hey, look, you're important for what we do. That goes both ways. You know, like you get the word of mouth out there. You know, you help me get the word. Like, you know, it benefits everyone in these relationships. So
you sell me more games.
Yeah. You make me money, I make you money.
Yeah.
Because it's a business.
Except for us.
And like that's how it should be. Just make some sort of stricter things there.
Maybe just in not even labelling it an NDA. Like, come up with something new.
Yeah.
You know, the industry's big enough to be able to coin its own term and do something different to everybody.
Or just keep calling it embargo and make embargoes more important, more solid, something of value.
More contractual.
More contractual is what I wanted. And that's our thoughts on the situation with Bethesda.
I'll see how long.
The microphone's on there's down there's on. It's going to sound like garbage.
I don't know what happened. There must be a battery.
I'm Ryan Betson.
Josh thought it's by.
Comment below, tell us what you think.
I like how good our microphone.
Luckily I plugged that microphone in, eh?